When 23-year-old Tony Hoffert set off from Southern California for a vacation in the Valley Sequoia Lake, he never expected an accident would change his plans.
I was going on vacation and I ran into an intersection and was making a left. And there was a semi-truck doing 50 miles an hour. And he tried to avoid me but couldn't and hit my car. They were on the scene immediately and pulled me out of the car and gave me oxygen. And I was airlifted from there to the local hospital.
Besides his head injury, he had a broken back, broken ribs, a broken hand, and a ruptured spleen. Tony was flown to Community Regional Medical Center, the area's only Level 1 trauma center. His mom, Paula, was waiting for him to show up at Lake Sequoia when she got the call from Tony's friend.
His friend said, "I'm sorry, I have to tell you this, but Tony's been in an accident." And I asked him how bad it was, and he said, well, it was bad enough that they put him in a helicopter and flew him to the hospital. He was able to tell us where to go, and by the time we got here, Tony was already had already landed, and they were working on him. We were so blessed that the hospital was here, and the fact that it was a trauma 1 hospital, it was just, for us, it was such a great blessing, and that he got here so fast, because Tony had a severe head trauma. But I remember thinking, this sounds like this is life or death. And I was hoping that I heard them wrong. And so I asked them, is this life or death? And the nurse said, yes. And that was the scariest moment.
For 16 days, Tony was in a coma, and his parents from Southern California and brother from London were constantly at his bedside.
They said it was really tough for them. Because at first, the neuroscientists were telling them that I wasn't going to wake up from the coma. And not only did I wake up, but I'm able to walk and talk.
But Paula said Tony didn't speak right away, and they were worried. Then the nurse asked him his brother's name, and he said, Matt.
We tried to get him to speak later because we wanted to make sure we heard what we thought we heard. And then he said, my brother. And so it was 2 words together, and that was even more exciting. And then later that night, I asked him if he could just say one more thing before we had to go, because so we could get some sleep. And he said, "Are you coming back?" So then we knew he was thinking, and there was a lot going on in there, and it was amazing. It was just an amazing moment.
I remember my parents in the hospital here telling me that they're really close by.
During Tony's 2-month recovery, the Hofferts were able to stay at Terry's house, a home away from home for family who have loved ones in critical care at Community Regional.
The first 3 days, or first couple days at least, we were pretty much living in the ICU, sleeping in the lobby. They were kind enough to give us a little tiny room to spend the night in, I think 1 or 2 nights, and they had a recliner in there. Because we really wanted to be close to him if anything changed, and obviously we were pretty far from home as well.
But then Paula, her husband, and other son Matt needed somewhere more long-term and affordable since they lived 4 hours away.
It was so wonderful that we could go to Terry's house, because it's less than I'd say a 5-minute walk for us to get from Terry's house to Tony's room. So I kind of got used to getting 2 and 3 hours of sleep here and there, and Terry's house was so convenient. I could just go whenever it was a good time, where I wasn't so worried, and get some rest and then come right back. And it just meant the world to me to be able to do that.
After 2 months in the hospital, Tony was ready to get back to his software engineering job at Boeing in Southern California and back under the care of his local physician.
My family doctor is the one I've seen. And he was looking at my medical records, and he said, "Are you religious?" And I said, "Yes." He says, "You better be. It's a miracle that you're still here." He was saying that one of the injuries I received, most people don't usually survive it.
Tony and his parents are grateful for Terry's house and the high-level care received at Community Regional.
It was nice knowing that I had a bunch of experts around me who keep me safe.
There was a lot of people helping in this miracle. It was just amazing how well trained everybody was. They just knew what to do and when to do it. There was just something going on every single second, and I just couldn't believe how well they were just handling it all.
Everything worked out. I went from the odds being against me to everything being in my favor.